In the last few videos, you guys know we bought this Japanese Kei car for $436 from Japan's biggest auction house. We got scammed, the motor was toast. We bought a new motor and I shared with you my plans to put this Temu supercharger on it. Today, we're gonna hopefully get everything in the car and we should hear it start and run for the first time.
He said, son, when you grow up.
As you guys can see, most of the fabrication is all done. And my God, did we bring out the backyard bush mechanics for this one. There's some pretty crazy stuff going on here. We've got a 1JZ tensioner pulley here that's working off a bearing and stuff to just put a bit more tension on this. I'm using an R33 traction arm from the rear here for our tensioner. Everything's working. We've got our new belt. We should be good to kind of drop this in now and see how everything goes, but we've got to put our trans on, our clutch on, and all that other stuff. Intercooler, everything's piped up. All the silicone couplers that I ordered came and they all fitted perfectly. So we're good there. We should be ready to pretty much go the moment we get this in the bed. But like I said, first things first, clutch, flywheel, transmission, all of that needs to go on. Any other accessories or things for the wiring harness that we have forgotten need to get addressed. And then we just kind of hope that we put it in and everything works and starts for the first time. So let's get to it. I think I got it on. I will clutch alignment, love that. I think we're done. We can think about putting this in the car now, that's exciting. Now those of you with a keen eye, you'll notice we have a supercharger here and I have a supercharger here. And that's because I bought two just in case. I'm sure you guys have seen other people use these. They have like plastic, I guess, what do you call these, blades or whatever? And they're known for delaminating and falling apart and kind of exploding. But I believe that's because a lot of people don't know that you're meant to put oil in them. I actually looked up a ton of videos and I don't think I saw any videos of people draining or opening this and putting oil in it and talking about it. Also, the new pulleys came for these. So you'll actually see that that has the 4PK pulley on it now, and it's not the big 7PK one here, as you can see. So much more appropriate for what we're dealing with. But I figured since this was the one that we used for mocking up, and this is now going to be our spare one, I'm going to actually show you guys how to service these things. So if you do get one, you can give this thing the best chance at life. And we're going to crack this open and show you how simple it really is. So let me get my 10 mil and we'll head over to the bench. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to want to zap off the fuel port, which is just this little guy here. Sometimes these come with no oil, completely dry, or they come with oil that was put in them for testing. You can see absolutely pretty much no oil inside this, just a little bit. So we're gonna crack this open and drain everything out. You can also see that the oil that was in there was really, really dirty. And that was probably just from them testing it when they first assembled it at the factory. So let's pop this off. It's just a bunch of 10 mils on the back. It's very similar to how a quick change diff works actually inside here. You guys are gonna probably love it. So check this out. I think it takes about 100 mil of oil, by the way. There she is. Sheesh. There's actually oil on this one. Wait, was this the one we already filled up with oil, Daiki? Do you remember if we filled this one up? I don't.
No, maybe.
I don't remember, but like I said, these don't ship with oil. You've got an O-ring, put that aside. I'm just gonna pour out anything that's in here. There's actually some good oil. Is this the one we changed? We filled up? No, we didn't like this one. This one actually shipped with oil, that's surprising. See all the metal shavings in there? All the glitter. Like I said, most of these don't come with oil chips in it. I'm actually really surprised this has oil in it. Maybe some of the sellers started catching on and realizing that people were forgetting to put oil in these, so they just started filling them up. It's kind of interesting that this had some in there. The one that we have on the engine that we've already serviced, that had no oil in it, and it had like just the tiniest bit of like really, really dirty black oil. So it was a good chance that that was just from them when they tested it at the factory kind of thing after assembling it. But it's pretty straightforward. You dump whatever's in there out, you clean it out with some parts cleaner so that it's got a fighting chance of being clean and no debris in there. It's like a little baby quick change cover. And then you got your 2 gears there, which are connected, which as the front pulley spins, it spins both of those. It's pretty cool. All right, we're done there. The next thing you probably want to do is zap off the pulley. And it just cases the bearing. So it's just a good idea to just inspect in here, make sure everything's all good. Looks good. Doesn't actually look like there's any grease in here. Should be okay though. Oh, there is a little bit there. Not much. Be very, very careful when you take your pulley off that you don't lose your woodruff key. They can be a little loose and they're quite small, so just keep that in mind. But everything looks okay here. I would be happy to give this a shot and give it a run. We've got a spare one, like I said, just in case something goes wrong. And just spray out any kind of debris that is inside on the blades, any kind of metal shavings, dirt, anything that can get in between the blades. It will dig into the plastic and get stuck in there, and that will lead to tolerance issues and it potentially delaminating, and you don't want that. The AMR 500s and 300 superchargers from my research have been used across the board on, like, you know, the old VW Beetles and all that type of stuff with no issues, and people using them for years on end. I think it just comes down to poor maintenance, and maybe there are some cheap, you know, replicas out there. From what I understand though, all of the blades are plastic, so I'm confused if some are exploding and some aren't, but maybe that's those ones that came shipped, you know, gear oil, and they were just getting too hot and exploding or something. I don't know, but we will find out. We'll see how it goes on the Kei engine. I think it's going to do really, really well considering it's only a 660cc, and this is probably more what it was made for. Up to like a 1 litre or 1.2 litre engine, it'd probably work really, really well. I wouldn't do anything else other than that. It's going to be huge air restriction to anything bigger, and it's just going to generate a lot more heat and be annoying. That being said though, we obviously haven't tested it on the Kei car, and I'm just being very, very optimistic right now, but we will find out if it's bad or good or just total junk, and then we'll blame Temu. So we're pretty much ready now to try and drop this bad boy in, or drop the car on this bad boy. That's confusing because we kind of just dropped the whole car on top of it. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. This thing is gonna go in there. Hopefully everything lines up. Like I said, I'm expecting we're gonna have to cut the bumper there and everything, but that plastic shield there will probably just tear off. The only main thing I'm worried about is the intake for the supercharger, but we'll be able to fabricate something up to make it work if we have to notch the core support, whatever. It's what you gotta do to make power. This thing looks ridiculous. I'm so stoked on this. This looks amazing. It's like that perfect level of professionalism, but also just straight up bogan fun, like random stuff. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. I just wanna hurry up and get this thing in here and make sure it starts and runs. Lower her down. We took the bumpers and stuff off. That took like 5 seconds. And Hugo's here helping too. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Bring this thing down nice and slow. Oh, we're totally missing the hole right now. We need to readjust this. I'm gonna set you guys up back here. That way you get a little bit of a time-lapse kind of vibe going on of us putting this in. That looks pretty good there. We'll see, we'll go with that. So our biggest issue right now is trying to line this up. The supercharger is obviously hitting here. We knew this was going to be an issue, but from our measurements, and once the engine is in the correct position, which is still like a good 3 inches taller than where it is now, this will actually clear this, we believe. So it's kind of proving to be a little difficult because to kind of like tilt or roll the engine, it's not letting us because the intake manifold's hitting the firewall. So we're trying to use the engine crane now to just kind of lift the engine up a little bit and let us kind of shimmy it around. If it doesn't let us, I'm just gonna send it and notch this. I'll cut a groove in through here and I'll notch and plate it in, and then that'll probably add an extra hour to today's job. But if we have to do that, we have to do that. It's fine. It's not gonna really be an issue, like structural wise. I think it'll be fine. But everything else seems to be clearing and looking like it's gonna be fine in the engine bay, which is great. We just need to sort out that issue.
A few moments later.
Cut a nice notch out of our core support here. I'm hoping everything's going to clear. We're going to load the engine in there, make sure it clears everything, kind of lines up with all the mounts without hitting. If that's all good, then I'm going to re-weld in the piece that I cut out, that I've just cut another top piece off, and I'm just going to literally slap this in here and weld her in. And then I'll just get some pieces of scrap steel to weld in those corners, and she'll be boxed and notched in, and there shouldn't be any problem. So let's make sure this fits, and then we'll take it back out again and we'll be good, because I'd rather check that first than weld that in and realize we still needed to cut more. Test fitted everything and we were good. I boxed it all in. She's notched, welded in there, fired up the good old MIG. She ain't going nowhere. She feels stronger than it was before. That's for sure. At least that's what I'm going to tell the shucking people if we ever try to get this thing re-shuckened. But we're ready to put this thing in now, and hopefully it doesn't come out anymore. I'm stoked. Good news, everybody. We're pretty much almost ready for first start. We're putting oil in the engine. We didn't forget the oil. We also still don't have oil in the trans, but we're just gonna do first start for a few seconds with no oil in the trans. But don't worry, Daiki knows there's no oil in the transmission, so we will put oil in it after this. This is just so we know that it runs, and I just also want to hear some supercharger noises. Also, we had to notch this like a second time for a bit more clearance, because it's still very, very close. Yeah, it still works great though. And I also cut a little knob that was here too off. But yeah, it kind of fits okay. Once the bumper goes back on, we'll know for sure where we're at. But cutting off a few vents and stuff on the front of the bumper is not a big deal. Overall though, we've already tested that we can take the charger in and out inside the car. With the engine in there and everything, so that's the main thing. This is like in the prime position too for us to cut a hole in our hood and make some cold air come in here, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Also, I did tell you guys that I do plan on hooking up electric AC to this car, so this thing, if it does work and everything, we will have electric AC, but for now, these lines will just kind of chill there for testing purposes only. Battery terminals are tight. We're ready to bleed the coolant. Everything's hooked up. It should start and run right now. I'm pretty hyped. I'm also very nervous. I'm gonna give Daiki the camera, because this way if something goes wrong while I'm cranking it, you guys get to see it. Also, you'll get to see my reaction, because I'm pretty nervous. This is a clutch switch in it. Damn it. All right, here we go. Oh. Here we go. Doesn't sound great. Could just be, you know, fresh engine and all that. It's like building boost. It's building boost idling. That could be a problem, actually. I'm like looking for the shifter. There's no shifter. Is this supposed to be that loud? That's stupid loud. Is it supposed to be that loud? boost. It just dies. We're gonna need a link. We're gonna actually need a link ECU. This thing makes stupid boost. Look, I bumped the throttle. It wants to make dumb boost. This actually makes boost like crazy. We're gonna definitely need a link ECU or something for this because it just wants to make boost like crazy. That's actually impressive. You see how much boost it was trying to make, Daiki? Like instant throttle too. Like the moment you touch the throttle, it just go straight to 0.5 bar. 0.5 bar, what is that in PSI? Like 8 PSI? That's a lot. Like my K-Van stock runs at 0.5 bar. If it's making that much boost on just me touching the throttle, this thing may actually, we're gonna need something to bleed off boost. Hey wait, how do you put a wastegate on a supercharger? Can we even do that? Because there's no exhaust. Do you just put a wastegate on the charge pipe and just kind of like have a spring and like let it bleed out from like a certain PSI? 0.5 bar in PSI. Yeah, that's 7.2 PSI. I'm mind blown that it, well, first of all, the engine's good because it's not smoking. You notice that, Daiki? No smoke. That's good. But the supercharger's so loud. And it's angry. Slips. The belt slip is real. We need more tension. It's not happy. This poor car. Did we just blow our head gasket? Water just shot out everywhere. We may have blown our head gasket already by just pumping too much boost in this engine. Did we just blow it up? Imagine if we blew it up. We blew up the NA engine instantly. Oh yeah, she's self-clearancing over here quite nicely. I'm still mind blown that this thing makes boost that easy and quickly. Like actually, that's stupid. That's really stupid. Why is the intercooler so hot? What the freak, Dake? The intercooler is so hot. Oh wow. Oh, the supercharger is crazy hot. Is it meant to get that hot? Oh my God. Everything's like so hot you can't touch it. Let's have a look at the plastic blades. Oh, they look great. Nothing broken in here yet. I think once we put an air filter on here, it'll probably look much better. And this actually looks quite good in here. Doesn't look like any of the plastic is delaminating or anything, which is good. It's the main thing I was worried about, that everyone else was having the same issues. We need to apply a little bit more tension though, which probably means that the quickest way to solve this is I can actually probably get a 5 mil or even a 10 mil smaller belt. It'll just take a couple days, but I think we already know that this thing's gonna need more ECU control of some kind. I'm still mind blown that this thing is literally just boosting already that quick and easy. It's stupid. I'm actually worried. We're gonna need some kind of bleed off for this. This thing's boosting way too hard. Also, why is the air coming out of it so hot? Is it the supercharger that's making it that hot? Because the supercharger is boiling hot. Is that normal problem with superchargers? They just get too hot? Because this thing is like, I can't touch it. It's so hot. It's been rubbing on the frame there. God damn it. We'll let that self-clearance, it'll be fine. I'm crazy impressed, right? Because obviously it's making boost, which is freaking sick. The belt didn't fly off. Our tensioner pulley from the 1J seemed to work quite well. That's working. We could also apply more tension by sliding that up more. So we could do that, but I think if we just get a smaller belt, like a 4PK 9695, I think it'll be fine. This is just like crazy hot to the touch though. And the intercooler is crazy. Like feel the heat coming off the intercooler is just nuts. So, that just seems wild to me how hot this is from the hot air from that. I'm curious to know in the conversation if anyone has experience with these or superchargers in general. Do they normally generate heat more than a turbo, like hot air? Because this is all boiling hot. I'm a little concerned about that. The engine runs, the engine works. It's not smoking like the previous engine. If it was, we would be dead right now because the exhaust just comes out here. There would be clouds everywhere. It's a little hazy in here, but that's probably just from what's burning out of the catalytic converter from the previous engine. But otherwise, I'm stoked. This thing seems to work. The supercharger sounds crazy loud, but I think once we put an air filter on that, it'll probably quieten up quite a lot. And also, once it's not fighting against itself, because I think it's built up boost already in this area. And I think it's just like keeps pushing air against air, and that's why it's getting super hot and inefficient. So if we can fix that issue, I think we'll be good. So there you guys go, the Wagoner, this Kei car with the supercharger we bolted on there from Temu is working, and it hasn't completely destroyed itself yet. Yet is definitely the word there. But I'm pretty stoked. Seems like everything kind of worked out pretty well. It fits in there somewhat okay. Yes, we had to notch the frame and stuff like that, but hey, we've just added a big block thing there that wasn't there before. We can try tensioning it a little bit more, putting a smaller belt on and all of that, but overall, I think it's pretty good with what we've been able to achieve. Also, the other thing that we have to take into account is we need to work out how to control boost on this thing. It is building boost on idle, which is crazy. Maybe that means I have to actually drop down to an AMR 300 instead of the 500, so that's not producing too much boost. But still, I'm stoked. Once we get some kind of boost control on this, maybe we need to obviously look into a different ECU too so that we can control everything. Then yeah, we'll see where we're at. But right now, I'm really happy with this. We got to obviously hook everything up, see if we can take it for a little bit of a drive. Maybe what I can do is just create a boost leak for now so that it's bleeding off some of the boost, and that way we're only making like, 3 or 4 PSI. Yeah, I really don't want to cut a hole in my nice intercooler piping, but if I've got to, I've got to. I could also just maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of confused. Like, it's making so much boost on idle. It's crazy. Anyways, that aside, guys, make sure you hit that like button, write me a comment, and subscribe. You got to let YouTube know that you like these kinds of videos, and you got to let me know as well. Obviously, this is a little bit of a fun project and something that I wanted to do because I feel like right now in the world, no one wants to spend a ton of money on stuff. All of these expensive cars that you see behind me, yeah, they're cool. They're dream cars for sure, and I definitely love those cars. But at the end of the day, the thing that got me into cars was messing around with my friends with cheap shit boxes. I'm sorry for swearing, but that is literally the only way that I can describe that. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, enjoy some of my karaoke from my live streams.
He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons?